What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Talking Blue, the most analytical Dodgers podcast that you can find. Today, you are listening to episode 11 of Talking Blue. I'm your host, Nick. Today, we're going to recap the Dodgers-Rangers series that just ended. Of course, my last podcast was previewing that series. Today, we're going to recap the three games. Dodgers finished the third game a few hours ago. They take the series, win 2 out of 3 in Texas. It was advertised as a big pitching series, and it lived up to that. So we're going to go through all those games. Before we get into it, follow us on all social media at Talking Blue Pod. You can follow us on X. You can follow us on TikTok. You can follow us on Reddit at competitive-week. That is week as in days of the week. 8715. Like I said, in the profile picture, you'll see Talking Blue. You'll see all the links to all the places you can get the podcast. I've been talking with a lot of people on there. It's been really engaging and really fun. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Add us on YouTube as well if you prefer to watch. We have a lot of YouTube shorts that have been coming out and doing well, and there will be more by the time this podcast comes out and after it comes out. So, now that we're done with that, the Rangers and the Dodgers. The Dodgers played pretty well in this series. Like I said, taking 2 of 3. We got the candle going. The vibes are pretty high after this win. Really quickly, before we get into the games, I'm going to just do some injury updates. I'm trying to get into the habit of doing that. Obviously, Tyler Glasnow in one of these games, as you probably know, had a cramp issue. We'll get into that later on because I was in the third game. Blake Treinen went on the 15-day IL the other day with a forearm strain, low-grade forearm sprain, which means his elbow. Dave Roberts said they dodged a huge bullet and it won't need surgery or anything like that. So that's really the only updates. He's going to begin a rehab program. Again, it's too early. So a lot of times with injuries, you don't know. He could come back after the 15 days, or he could be gone until August or something like that. So it's not really great to hear that from Blake Treinen. I talked about how his velocity has ticked up, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But if he doesn't need surgery or anything like that, then it's not the end of the world right now. Clayton Kershaw already made one rehab start. He's going to make his second this Tuesday. Obviously, he had the knee issue, so he is rehabbing, and he looked pretty good in his last start. So if he has not one more, but if he has another rehab start, I would imagine they're going to take their time with him. So probably see Kershaw at some point in May, maybe mid-May. Again, depending on how it progresses, we'll see. Blake Snell, who threw his first bullpen session on Saturday, which was yesterday at the time of this recording, and he said he would need another bullpen and some simulated games before being activated. So he said he feels way better. So that's also good because what he said remains true. Then he will likely be back in probably 2 to 3 weeks again at some point, probably in May is when you'll see him. So that's also good news from Blake Snell. So that's it for the injury report. I'm not going to talk about any of the other guys. So let's go ahead and get right into the first game. This probably will be a somewhat quick podcast because all 3 games were kind of similar. Almost no offense to talk about. We're basically going to talk about each 3 pitchers from each game and then basically a little bit of what happened throughout the game. But there's really not much offense to go about. So let's get right into the first game, which was Yoshinobu Yamamoto versus Jacob deGrom, Friday night, April 18th. I talked about a lot about on the previous podcast, diving into a lot of the Rangers stats. Very aggressive team, chase a lot. I said they didn't hit well against splitters, so it was a good matchup for Yamamoto as well as Sasaki. I said Jacob deGrom, his fastball numbers have not been as good. And I also made my 3 predictions I wanted to say really quickly. Tommy Edman came through and hit a home run for me in Game 1 off deGrom, like I said. Freeman came through for me, and he hit a home run off of Eovaldi, like I said. Max Muncy came so close. He also almost took Eovaldi deep in Game 2. He came a few feet short. And then Conforto and Teoscar did not get the message in Game 3. But I said I wasn't sure I'd get any, and I got 2 right in each game. So I picked a guy to get a home run in game 1 and game 2, and they both came through for me in those specific games. So that makes me feel pretty good. Game 1, Yamamoto versus DeGrom, and it was, like I said, not much to talk about. In the very first inning, as I just mentioned, Tommy Edman hit a home run to dead center, right center, to put the Dodgers up 1-0. And the Dodgers would not score until the ninth inning. Yoshinobu Yamamoto absolutely dominated the Rangers. We're going to get into him. 7 shutout innings. He had 10 strikeouts. So then later on into the ninth inning, Teoscar Hernandez gave the Dodgers some insurance, singled to right field to make it 2-0. Then Will Smith came up, hit a sac fly to center field to make it 3-0. So some insurance for the Dodgers in the top of the ninth inning. Then we will go to the bottom of the ninth where Tanner Scott came in for the save. Corey Seager started off the inning with a single. Then a really nice play. Kevin Pillar pinch hits, ground ball to Max Muncy, diving stop to his left to get the force out at second. So 1 out. Adolis Garcia came up and singled, so now the tying run is at the plate, but then Josh Jung hits a ground ball down the left field line. Max Muncy backhands it, throws to second. Tommy Edman throws to first. Double play, a 5-4-3 double play to end the game. So 2 really nice plays by Max Muncy in the ninth inning to end the game. Tanner Scott gets the save. Dodgers win 3-0. Just wanted to go through. Yamamoto for 7, Kirby Yates for 1, Tanner Scott for 1. 3 pitchers to pitch in the game. Yamamoto gets the win. Tanner Scott gets the save, as I said. Jacob deGrom gets the loss in the game, but he actually pitched very well. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run on the solo home run from Tommy Edman, 7 strikeouts, and only 1 walked. He pretty much dominated the Dodgers lineup. But we're going to talk about Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Let's get right into his start. This was his 5th start of the year. I've talked about every podcast how much of a fan I am of Yamamoto. Predicted he'll finish in the top 3 in Cy Young. And right now, that looks like it is selling him short, because right now he would probably be the favorite to win the Cy Young in the National League, because he looks like maybe the best pitcher in all of baseball right now. So Yamamoto threw 102 pitches. Like I said, he got through 7 innings. Let me get his final line. 7 innings pitched, only 5 hits allowed, no earned runs, 10 strikeouts. He was very nasty in this game. Like I said, 102 pitches. He had 20 whiffs in this game. 20 swings and misses, which is a career high. And I talked about in the series preview of the Rangers and the Dodgers, I mentioned that I predicted Yamamoto would throw his splitter at the highest increase, and he would throw it more than his fastball. And that was true. He threw 31 splitters and 34 seamers. Then he went with 22 curveballs, 8 sliders. So the slider came up in this game. 7 sinkers, 4 cutters. So Yamamoto threw the entire kitchen sink at the Rangers in this game. He threw 6 different pitches and threw a decent amount of each of them. The splitter was disgusting. He got 7 whiffs on his splitter, 4 on the 4-seamer, which is good because he hasn't had a lot of swing and miss on his 4-seamer. He had 6 whiffs on the curveball. The curveball looked really good, especially early in the game. He got some good swings and misses against Corey Seager. Then he had 3 on his slider, none on the sinker and the cutter. So he is just so good when it comes to pounding the strike zone. He's one of the best pitchers in the game. First pitch strike percentage. He lives on the edge. That is something very key for Yamamoto. He is so good at living on the edge, at living on those edge parts of the strike zone. He barely throws balls in the heart of the plate. So I just wanted to dive in to some of his numbers. Like I said, he on the year has thrown the splitter at a 30% rate. In this game, he continued to throw it at 30% in the game. But like I said, it was the first time he threw more splitters than fastballs, like I thought he would, because of the Rangers are a very aggressive team, and they didn't hit the splitter well, so up until this point. So he was so dominant in this game. It's probably the best game of his young career so far. Last year against the Yankees in the regular season, he had one of his best starts and then immediately went on the IL. Then he pitched really good against the Yankees in the World Series. This probably was his best inning, or best game, I should say. If not, it's right there with those two. And I just wanted to give some of his numbers so far. Yamamoto on the year, like I said, he's through 5 games so far. He has pitched in 29 innings. He has 38 strikeouts. He has an ERA of 0.93, so a sub-1 ERA. and he's got a whip of 0.86. Some really nasty numbers. I'm going to give off some of his rankings so far early in the year. So Yamamoto has the 9th highest K per 9, 2nd highest ground ball rate. So he's getting a ton of strikeouts, and he's keeping the ball on the ground. He has the 3rd lowest ERA in all of baseball, and he has the 2nd best expected ERA. Paul Skeens is 1. Like I said, expected numbers take quality of contact into account, and based on the quality of contact, his expected ERA is 2nd in all of baseball. His FIP, which is another number that kind of takes out defense and stuff like that, is 7th in all of baseball, and his expected FIP is 2nd. So if you look at a lot of the numbers, he is without question a top 10 pitcher in the game, and is pretty much a top 5 pitcher in the game so far. Then I just wanted to look at some of his advanced numbers. His strikeout percentage, 35.2. That's the 4th highest in all of baseball. Yamamoto's splitter ranks 17th in all of baseball in terms of whiff percentage out of all pitches. In terms of swing and miss, Yamamoto has the 17th best pitch in baseball, which is his splitter. So out of all splitters so far, it has the 2nd lowest batting average against in all of baseball in terms of splitters, the 6th best slugging percentage. Splitter gets the 4th best swing and miss rate out of all splitters, and it has the 20th best hard hit percentage, so that's not too great, but his splitter numbers have been really dominant so far. And again, I just wanted to talk about some of the things he's been better at. He's cut his barrel percentage in half. His expected batting average is way better. The expected slug is way down. The hard hit percentage is about the same, but the K percentage is through the roof. And I mentioned in my last podcast the last time we talked about Yamamoto, how his walk percentage was the only negative. His walk percentage last year, 6%. Right now it's at 6.5. So he's been better with his command as of late, and he increased a lot of the walk percentage. And then I just want to lastly give numbers on his individual pitches so far. Yamamoto, like I said, he had 4 whiffs on the game on his four-seam fastball, which has been interesting. His his four-seam fastball throughout his career. So earlier last year, he had a batting average against of 264 on his four-seam fastball, and the expected was 276. Right now, his batting average against is 200, and the expected batting average is 250. So there is still a little bit of luck involved, but his fastball is not getting as hit around as it was last year, and it's got really good numbers against it. Now, it doesn't have great whiff percentage. Like I said, he had 4 in this game, which is good. Only gets a swing and miss 13.4% of the time, but it is not getting hit hard. Of course, the splitter, the batting average against of 0.77 and a 123 expected batting average, and it has a whiff percentage of 51.4. His curveball, which looked good in this game, it has a batting average against of 357. We've talked about this before. The expected is 277. So there has been luck involved, but that's really been the only pitch for Yamamoto that's gotten hit around a little bit. In this game, like rookie Sasaki, who we'll get into, he increased the slider usage a little, so he threw it 8% of the time in this game. That's the most he's thrown it by far in this season, because there's been a lot of starts where he's only thrown 1 slider. He's thrown the slider 3% of the time this year, so he threw it 8% in this game. Got a few whiffs on it against some right-handed hitters, so that's really good to see. Increasing the usage on other pitches. It's almost like he's becoming a Yu Darvish, where he's throwing multiple pitches. I know he's still heavy four-seam, splitter, and curveball, but he's going to mix in the sinker and the cutter, and now he's brought back the slider a little bit so far in this start. So can't say enough about Yamamoto. He just continues to be dominant. The Dodgers ace by far, even with all the talented guys that they have, continue to back me up where I've said that I think he's going to be better this year. He's going to be one of the 5 best pitchers in the game. Right now, he's probably one of the best 3 pitchers in the game. And I would argue he's been 1, because he's getting elite strikeout numbers and elite ground ball percentages. So he's not getting hit hard. He's keeping the ball on the ground, and he's striking guys out. He's not just pitching to contact. So that wraps up Yamamoto, who has continued to be very dominant. And this start against the Rangers was definitely, or one of the best of his career, if not the best of his young career so far. So that's pretty much it for game one. Like I said, Tommy Edman, thanks for backing me up with that home run. Later on, the Dodgers added on, but they held on, played some good defense later in the game, get a 3-0 win. Game two, Saturday, April 19th, Roki Sasaki versus Nathan Eovaldi of the Texas Rangers. I talked about an interesting matchup. I thought it would be the most interesting opponent that Sasaki has faced up until this point because of the Rangers' aggression and their chase. And Sasaki has not gotten too much swing and miss or chase early in his career. And that is something that's important to him because of the pitch that he throws, the splitter, and how nasty his splitter is. He incorporated another pitch in this game, so we'll get to that. The Texas Rangers got on the board first. It was Kyle Higashioka in the bottom of the third, hit a 2-run homer off of off of Sasaki, made it 2-0 Rangers. Later on, top of the fourth inning, after a Mookie Betts single, Freddie Freeman homers to tie the game up like I predicted. So the Dodgers are tied up 2-2. Then Max Muncy almost backed me up by hitting a home run as well. He just missed it, ground rule double into the gap. So the Dodgers are now up 3-2. Roki Sasaki battles his way through 6 innings. So the most innings he's thrown in a game so far in his young career. Dodgers are up 3-2. They would take it into the 9th inning. Kirby Yates comes in for the save. And as you probably saw by now, Josh Smith doubles the other way, tying run on base, and then Adolis Garcia comes up and hits a line drive home run to left center field to win the game for the Rangers. So not even a struggle for Kirby Yates. It wasn't like a long inning that a couple walks and stuff like that, and then the Rangers kind of pushed through the last run. Josh Smith, like I said, doubled. Garcia came up and immediately homered. So game ends just like that. Kind of rough to see. So Dodgers lose this game 4-3. Roki Sasaki for 6. Jack Dreyer for 1. Evan Phillips made his return. He threw 2/3 of an inning, and then Vesia for 1. And then, like I said, Yates came into the 9th, didn't record an out. So Dodgers lose. Again, similar to the first game, they did just enough offensively to keep the game close. Nathan Eovaldi pitched pretty solid, but the Dodgers unfortunately lose. Kind of a rarity to see their bullpen give it up. Kirby Yates has been nasty so far to start the year. But let's get into Sasaki and how he looked in this game. Very interesting game from Sasaki. So his final line, he threw 6 innings, 2 hits allowed, 2 earned runs on the 1 home run, had 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He threw 78 pitches, so he's continued to not throw a ton of pitches. And the Dodgers continue to not leave him out there too long. He had some early contact early in the game, which led to him having a pretty good pitch count. And the story early on with Sasaki was his fastball velocity was down. On the year, Sasaki averages 96.5. And the average has gone down because of this game, but he pretty much averaged 97 on the fastball, just below that. In this game, he was down almost a full 2 miles an hour. He was averaging in this game 94.7. So early on, it was a little concerning to see, is something wrong with his arm? What's going on? And I just wanted to give some credit to someone on my Reddit who pointed out an article, an interview with Sasaki that was in Japanese. This is from Antique-Plum-4553. He left a comment under my post on Reddit saying, quote, in an interview, Roki explained that he understood why his velocity was down and that he made pitch-by-pitch adjustments throughout the game to address it, eventually managing it to get it back. This highlighted that he's still in the process of this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so basically what he's saying is that Sasaki in an interview alluded to that his mechanics were off a little bit, which was leading to the dip in velocity, which does make sense because later in the game, he did begin to actually throw a little bit harder, where early in the game, he was sitting basically 93 to 94, and then he was up to 96, 97 later in the game. So hopefully that does kind of allude to and kind of prove that it was the mechanics and nothing physical. So, and that's also good to see that he has stuff left in the tank later in the game. So in this game, he threw his slider 29%. He threw 23 sliders, which was a career high for him. That's the most sliders he's thrown in a game so far. and he got 3 whiffs on it. He got 8 whiffs total in the game. 3 were on the slider, 4 were on the splitter. And I just wanted to note, early on, Sasaki, everyone knows that his splitter is really nasty and that is his out pitch, which I think it is, no question. But this last game against the Rangers might have taught us a lot with Sasaki's slider so far. And I just wanted to give some rankings like I did about Yamamoto. I just wanted to give some rankings on his numbers so far. Sasaki's slider has a batting average against of 0, which is first in all of baseball. It has a slugging percentage of 0, which is first in all of baseball. It has a whiff percentage of 44.4, which is 13th in all of baseball. And these are all out of all sliders in baseball. An expected batting average of 0.75, which is second in baseball. An expected slug of 108, which is second in all of baseball. And it has a hard hit percentage of 0, which is first in all of baseball. So any way you slice it, Sasaki has one of the best sliders in baseball to go along with one of the best splitters in baseball. Just more numbers. Batting average against of 118 on the splitter, and it's got a 45.7% whiff rate. The slider, like I said, 0 batting average against, and it's got a 44% whiff rate. So both of those pitches have been really dominant for Sasaki, and he's continued to slightly increase it, and he did in this game, which is something I did not see coming. He kind of caught me off guard with that, with the increase. So Sasaki kind of fooled the Rangers by increasing usage on that pitch. He threw it to right-handers, threw it to some left-handers, and it led to some good swing and miss numbers. And early on, his splitter and his slider are not being hit hard. Now, the pitch that is being hit hard with Sasaki is the four-seam fastball. Just like Yamamoto last year in his rookie year, Yamamoto had to figure out things with his four-seam fastball and how to improve the numbers against it, and he has so far this year, and he did later on as the year went on last year. Right now, he has a 244 batting average against on his four-seamer, but the expected batting average is 330. So his four-seamer is getting hit a little bit hard, which I did mention in my previous podcast. That has continued so far, and it's not getting really any swing and miss at all, only 10% of the time. That's even less, I believe, than Yamamoto's four-seamer. So the four-seamer is a pitch that he's got to figure out right now. I think he's got to incorporate a sinker. Maybe he could even incorporate a cutter. So he's got some things to figure out with his four-seamer, but he's got 2 of the best pitches in baseball, 2 of the best off-speed pitches in all of baseball so far. And I did not see that coming with his slider. It's got really good swing and miss numbers, and nobody hits it hard so far. So that's very interesting from Roki Sasaki. So definitely more growth and more improvement for Roki Sasaki so far. He's continued to get better at every start. The one thing he is missing so far is the swing and miss numbers. He's got a whiff percentage of basically 45% on both of his off-speed pitches, but really low on the four-seam fastball. It's 34th percentile in whiff percentage, 30th percentile in K percentage. So he has not found the swing and miss and put it all together for one start. But I think he's going to find that soon because he's got these 2 elite off-speed pitches. And he's continued to get better throughout the game and throughout each start, getting more confident. Start against the Rangers, he really showed his ability to better throughout a game. He, like I said, the velocity was down earlier in the game. He fixed up his mechanics. The velocity ticked up a little bit. He was able to manage his outing with some weak contact, early contact. There was some hard hit balls. I didn't even mention in this game that Andy Baez robbed a home run. That was my bad job by me to not mention that. Like I said, a lot of these games are really memorable later in the game. Pretty much it from Roki Sasaki. He continues to get better, slightly improve. He's been a work in progress, but his numbers on the year now, he's got a 3.20 ERA. He's got 19 innings, 16 strikeouts, a whip of 147. I think when Roki Sasaki figures things out with his fastball, he's going to continue to get better. And when he figures out the swing and miss and how to get more whiffs and get more chase, watch out, because he's going to have a meteoric rise like Yamamoto is having right now. So that's pretty much it for Game 2. Like I said, in all these games, mostly just going to talk about the pitchers. We'll go ahead and go to Game 3. Tyler Glasnow was on the mound. He will be taking on Tyler Mahle, who, of course, I talked about in the previous pod. Tyler Mahle has had really good numbers so far. Glasnow came off a really good start last week against the Cubs. So we'll go ahead, get into that game. Very similar to all the other games. Ohtani comes back for this game. So he's in the lineup, and it was a 0-0 game all the way until the 8th inning, where Will Smith came in to pinch hit, single to left field. Ohtani walked. Mookie Betts flew out to right field. That moved up Will Smith to third. And then Freddie Freeman sac fly to left field makes it 1-0. So the Dodgers get their first run of the game. Later on, Jack Dreyer would come in the 8th, have a clean 8th inning. Then Evan Phillips came in. He looks really good. Struck out Adolis Garcia. Then in the 9th inning, Tanner Scott came in for the save. Gets Wyatt Langford singled. Then he got Kevin Pillar to pop up. Josh Young flew out to left field. And then the last play of the game, Will Smith threw out his second runner of the series, throws out Wyatt Langford at second base, attempting to steal for the third out and for the final out of the game. So the Dodgers win 1-0. Tyler Glasnow, who we'll get into, went 4 innings. Luis Garcia went 2/3 of an inning. Anthony Bonda went 2/3. Ben Kasparius went 1.2. Jack Dreyer went 2/3. Evan Phillips went 1/3. And then Tanner Scott went 1 and got the save. So the news of this game was Tyler Glasnow. In the 3rd inning, the trainers came out to check on him, which, of course, with Tyler Glasnow's history, you immediately get kind of scared. And he immediately waved them off. The trainer and Dave Roberts were only out there for like a minute. And then I believe it was the 5th inning, he warmed up. He got through 4 innings, went back out there for the 5th. I'm not sure if he threw one pitch in the 5th inning and then came out, or if it was just the warm-up pitches. But the trainers came out. You could kind of see him looking down at the ground to his leg, kind of shaking out his leg. So that was immediate relief that it wasn't an arm issue, anything like that. It was something in his leg. It looked like it was either his ankle or some kind of calf or something. It ended up being a cramp, which means that there's no injury and it is nothing like that. So Dave Roberts said he's expected to start next week. No setbacks, nothing like that. He just had a cramp. They took him out. Precautionary reasons, of course. So he only goes 4 innings. He looked pretty good in the game. Was getting giving up some hard hit balls. There was a couple of hard hit balls hit to center field. Tommy Edman tracked him down. But he did get some good whiff numbers in the game. He only threw 51 pitches. He had 7 whiffs in the game. 3 of them were on the curveball, 1 slider, 1 sinker, 1 four-seamer. So, like I said, he did give up some hard contact early on, but he had 6 strikeouts through 4 innings, and he only had, like I said, 51 pitches. So he would have had a really nice outing. Probably gets through 6, probably strikes out 10 or 11, something like that. He was in the zone more often than his last starts. That's been the only issue with Tyler Glasnow is he's been out of the zone a little bit, and he's not getting too much chase. So his walk numbers early on haven't been too great, but because he has such great stuff and because he can pitch out of any kind of jams and stuff like that, his numbers don't look too bad. Again, a lot of them are still skewed by that one bad inning in Philly. He's in the 9th percentile in walk percentage. He's got a 16.1% walk percentage. So the walks have been an issue early on for Tyler Glasnow. Pitching to a 3.71 ERA, 17 innings pitched, 23 strikeouts. Still got a strikeout percentage in the 30s. The expected batting average against him is 196, so still under 200. So he's still pitching really good, throwing the ball really well, fastball sitting around 95. He's continued to have really good numbers on the curveball. Give some numbers on that really quickly. The four-seamer's got a batting average against of 100. The curveball has a batting average against of 118. And the slider is 250. So the slider has actually been the pitch that's gotten hit around a little bit. But his curveball, 37.5% whiff rate, and the slider is 38. So his curveball and slider have continued to be dominant this year. Just sucks that he came out of this game. But wanted to give credit to the bullpen. Like I said, Luis Garcia, Anthony Bonda, Ben Kasparius, Jack Dreyer, Evan Phillips came in for the one batter, and then Tanner Scott. All those guys came in and helped out Tyler Glasnow to get this win for the Dodgers. Bullpen was big in this series. Obviously, Kirby Yates gave up the walk-off home run, but Kirby Yates and Tanner Scott were able to help get the save in the first game when Yamamoto went 7. The Dodgers almost held down the game in Game 2. Kirby Yates really just made one of the rare bad pitches he's thrown all year. And then, like I said, in this game, all those guys were able to back up Tyler Glasnow. So, as this series was advertised as a pitching series and a series to look forward to with the bats or with the pitching, it lived up to that because there was very little offense, which is kind of impressive. Pat myself on the back that I was able to predict some home runs because there was very little offense. Pitching lived up to the deal. Yamamoto's continued his dominance. He's getting even better, it seems. Sasaki is continued to slowly improve. We just want to see some of the swing and miss numbers improve and get better, like his walk numbers have improved. His command's gotten better. We just want to see some more swing and miss. Tyler Glasnow unfortunately had the cramp, so we'll look forward to him pitching well against the Pirates next week. And we didn't really talk about any of the offensive players. There's not really, like I said, not much to talk about. Freddie Freeman had that home run. Tommy Edman hit the home run. Not much else other than that. So a pretty quick podcast like the last one. We'll see if I do a preview on the next series. The Dodgers play the Cubs. They go to Wrigley. Only 2 games. So I'm not sure if I'll do a preview because they've already played the Cubs 2 other times in Tokyo and then in LA. It's kind of a weird series where they play just 2 games. So a lot of off days coming up for the Dodgers, which is really good. I'll just, before we close out, give some offensive numbers. A week ago, I gave some numbers on the Dodgers, and I talked about how their offense had been very stagnant. So just some updated numbers at where they're at now. They lead the league in home runs with 36. They have the 6th most runs scored. They have the 7th highest walk percentage, so that's gone up a little bit. The strikeout percentage is 12th, so I'd still like to see it a little bit lower. The batting average is still not too great. It's middle of the pack. Again, batting average isn't too important, but the on base is 13th. Would like to see that increase. Again, the first series of this week against the Rockies was a great series where they really the bats showed up. This series was a little bit harder because of the good pitching. I saw some people online frustrated with the Dodgers bats, and I just would like to tell people, inform people, when you're going up against good arms like that, you just need to do enough to win the games. You're not gonna have these big offensive games against Nathan Eovaldi, Tyler Mahle, the way he's throwing the ball, and then Jacob deGrom, of course. So they did enough in each game to just win the game, which is what you want to see. So would like to see in this upcoming week some guys get going. I'd like to see Mookie Betts at bats improve because he's been hitting a lot of just routine fly balls to right field or rolling over to shortstop. I would like to see Max Muncy continue to get better, but I would like to see Michael Conforto and Teoscar Hernandez, who were my 2 picks to go deep in Game 3. They didn't come through for me. I'd like to see their at-bats improve. Shohei and Freddie have continued to rake. Tommy Edman continued to be good. Will Smith's been pretty good. So those 3 guys I'd like to see better. I'd like to see them get better as long as Max Muncy continue to get more walks and some more hits and stuff like that and have his confidence improve. So that's going to be it for episode 11. Not too long of a podcast. Like I said, Dodgers win 3 of 2. They will go to take on the Cubs this upcoming week in Wrigley. We'll see Dustin May, and then I'm not sure if they have a starter yet for Wednesday. It probably will be Landon Knack or something like that. So thank you for listening to episode 11. Like I said, you can get this podcast on YouTube if you'd like to watch. Keep up with all the shorts I've been making, all the TikToks coming out. Instagram Reels. You can get us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow us on all those social medias at Talking Blue Pod. Follow us on Reddit as well. Keep up with what I've been posting on Reddit, competitive-week 8715. See all the Talking Blue stuff on there. Going to have some more Reels and Shorts coming out. Thank you for listening. We will see you guys at the conclusion of the 2-game series this week in Wrigley, Dodgers, Cubs. Thank you for listening, everybody.